3 communication truths that will change your conversations. I'm Felicia Boka. I'm certified as solution focused coach and process communication model used by NASA, world presidents and CEOs of top companies. I'm also the author of the upcoming book, Good Questions, Great Life. I'm on a mission to help you ask better questions because good questions lead to better conversations, clarity around your goals, and the confidence to actually take action. So because think about the last time you walked away from a conversation feeling like the other person just did not get you. You said what you needed to say, they nodded, maybe they even, said their own part of the story, but it was not feeling like a conversation. You felt more like invisible, or you left more frustrated. Like the whole conversation was like a performance, but it was not actually, there was no connection, there were no positive outcomes from that conversation. What really happened there, right? Why did that conversation felt so draining, or you would label as, not constructive or bad? But on the other side, when you have, good conversation, it's because someone actually asked you a good question. We feel connected when someone is asking us questions. So this is the first lesson for communication, that the most important thing is to know what kind of questions to ask, so conversation flows, so conversation lead to some positive outcomes. Because not all the questions are good, and this is what I'm talking again and again on this channel. It's like there are surviving questions that are keeping the conversations going in a loop. They keep us overthink, worry, create more stress, are bringing more tension in the conversations and in relationships. On the other side, you have thriving questions where you ask more about thriving, and the distinction I've talked about again and again, like for example, what is already good and what is good in your life versus what are you stressed, frustrated about. Let's talk more about those things. And we tend to think more about those things because we ask, why is this happening to me? Why that person said what they said? Why? And then we think that by getting to the core of the why, then we will know how to fix it. But then we don't actually function this way, because it's not like you have a broken car, you fix it, you find where's the problem, you fix it, and then it works. The more we dig in, we don't get to the end of the things that could be the possibility, or the things that went wrong, or why it went wrong, right? But then other side, okay, what actually worked? How can we do more of what works? What is it that we want? How that looks like? What is some actions that we can take towards that? And this is a different kind of conversation. This is striving questions, and questions have this power that we can't people that actually created breakthroughs in our for humanity to move forward is people who engaged with how questions, like how would that be possible, what can we try, what really worked from the things that work, from the if you get to think about it, this is how people engaged, and this is how they created progress, and they engaged other people into this kind of questions and conversations. And because our mind, it will wake up us at night either with worry or with more anxiety about what can go wrong, or someone is going to leave us, or the business is going to flop, or whatever. Or we can wake up with creative ideas to find solutions to the business, to the relationships, to the things that you're working towards, because you have questions and you spend time with questions around, what is it that I do want out of my days? What is it that I want out of my life? What do I want out of this project? How can I make it happen? How can I make it successful? How can I make it easier for me, right? So this is the first biggest lesson of communication that I've learned, difference between these questions. And I'm on a mission to actually teach you to ask better questions. Subscribe and like, because this is what I'm going to talk more and more about here on this channel, and they are going to be very, very helpful. Imagine your mind engaging with the people around you with thriving questions. It's really changing our chemistry. It's changing how our mind is looking for clues and for resources and possibilities and how to do things, instead of always being in a state of fear from the surviving. And we can navigate with more ease this life that we have. The second lesson of communication is like, I was asking, like, how come it's so difficult to listen? So this is really a skill that I've learned as a coach. It's a practice to be able to listen what the other person is saying, but listen in terms of, okay, what are their resources? What are they? Where do they want to go? What have they tried? What is already working, right? So I'm listening for the entire story, where they're coming from, what is already good, and where are they going. And basically, the more I ask questions and I listen and I ask follow-up questions based on this framework, they are actually building more clarity and confidence, and they take action towards their goals. But the problem is, like, we are not by default able to listen, because our brain is so fast in predicting, and especially with the people that we interact like every day, your spouse, your partner, your colleague, your brain collected that they made that mistake or they did that thing, or we predict what they're going to say, we predict how they are going to respond, because based on past experiences. So therefore we just reinforce actually the same ways of operating, the same ways of interacting, just because we don't ask different questions right now, in order to create a different kind of future, in order to change their behavior in some way, in order to build awareness of what is it that they actually, what is the right way of doing it when you mess up, for example, right? The predictive brain wants to predict the future because it wants to keep you safe in the future. You don't want to waste time and energy, right, on things that you already know. So that's why we stop people or talk over people, because we don't want to waste time and energy, because we already know, right? Because our brain already predicted what is going to happen. And usually it goes like that because there are no other angles and questions that we can ask to the same problem in order to the other person can come up with different answers, right? Because if we ask the same questions, then we are going to get kind of the same answers, and then we get nowhere, right? But when we ask, different questions, who can help, right? Or what have you tried? Or what can we try? Then you have something that it was not based on the past, right? It's not based on this is how we do things and this is how I am, and therefore you deal with it, or that's, you either take me or leave me, like this is it, right? But when you ask different questions, then you actually challenge the situation, the behavior. This is something that we can change, and this is the third point that I want to point out. The most important part is not how we actually give feedback. There's a lot of books and how to give feedback, the sandwich feedback, say one good, one bad, and wrap it up with another good thing for people to not get hurt, or when you give them, criticize them, or you give them negative feedback. But actually we operate in this world. At all times we are getting feedback. I'm getting feedback from this video, publishing it, who's going to like it, who's not going to like it, how many people are going to watch it. Like everything we do, how we show up in the world, people are giving us feedback. They either welcome us, they resonate with us, or they don't, and they move away. And the thing is, we cannot control the entire, what kind of feedback people are sending to us, if they like us or if they not. Because if we engage in that thing, trying to control it, it's not leading anywhere. But there's something that we actually have, power. And it's actually how we receive feedback, right? How we interpret that feedback. People may not be trained to give us, good to pack it in the right words, the feedback that is giving. People might not be trained. Maybe they didn't put any thought in how it's giving us feedback. So we are responsible on how we actually take that feedback and what is the meaning that we give. And here I have a story that was the most actually, the more that are closest to us, right? We have our relationship with ourselves, but then the closest relationship is our partner. And this is where we might get the most, we take them the personal, or you take them the deepest personal, right? It was the kids were already maybe 3. I was done with spending all my time taking care of the kids and home. I wanted to think about the future and what things I want to do. And the thing I was okay, I will get with my husband I was like coming with the idea I'm going to get back to build the project that my husband was working on. And we are going to work together, and I built this vision about the future, how I'm going to join him, because I didn't want to go back and work in sales as a travel agent. I had this idea or vision that I want us to work together, because then we can manage the kids and the family and also have conversations. Maybe I was also craving to be close. Now that I think about it, it was not that clear at the time. But then he said, like, and what are you going to do? Like, because I've been at home for years now, 3 years, I think. Are you going, like, do you want to just be a place filler? And in that time, I felt like, how dare you? Thinking that I'm going to be a place filler. I felt so hurt. I took it so personal. I felt like it was an attack at my worth, at my value, and I was very, very upset for a long time. Like we had plenty of discussions around that conversation, and I couldn't find why is the hurt so painful, and I cannot let it go. I want to let it go, but it just can't let it go somehow. I realized that what he said, you are a place filler, it was about me. And I did take that meaning and I made it about me, that I am a place filler, that my worth is just a place filler, like nothing, right? Like and it doesn't add any value. So I thought, like, how dare you think like that about me? Like, I'm your life partner, we have kids together and so on. But the thing is, then I realized and I made this distinction, which allowed us to understand so many other things, was distinction between doing and being. And when I did take that, you are, because when people say, like, if you think about your life, when people hurt you the most is because they made statements, you are. They told you are not good at math, you are stupid, you are not whatever good at sports, you are. And they made it like an identity about you. What I've learned, and this is a really important communication lesson when we take feedback from people and when people say things because they don't think it, they don't mean it, they don't really mean it, they just say it because this is how is the language formed, but this is how it lands for us, and that's why it's so painful, because we take it on as this is me. So therefore, if this is who I am I in the relationship with you? And actually questioning our own being. And that's actually what I put and managed, was like, the being is worthy and lovable and complete. And I can tell you right now, my being is the same being, the same pure intentions of life, the same beautiful soul I have, or consciousness that exists within me, the same that I was like 10 years old, 15, 20, 40 now, right? But my doing changed over time. I've read more, I've changed my perspective, I've changed the way I do things, I've learned new languages, I travel new countries. I have a better understanding about how the world works. I understand myself better and my processes better. But the doing can also always be improved. The doing is chaotic. The doing is you can fail. The doing is, and when people are giving you feedback, I've learned to take it only and refocusing it only in the doing. So therefore, in that conversation that I had with my husband, with that back, like, what if you would have asked the question, or I would have been able to ask a question at the time, but I didn't have the skill and the clarity and the capacity at the time. It would be like, what is it that you want to do? How do you want to help in developing the projects, right? Not just assuming, right? Not just making a you statement, you are a place filler. I was like, but okay, I mean, thinking about you, like, what are your skills? What are you really interested right now? You know, you had the kids, you worked in sales, you worked in accounting. Now it's like a new season. We have this life, we have the kids. What is exactly that you would like to do? And this is exactly what I actually ended up questioning and doing it, questioning what is it that I really want to do? I want to become good at. What are my natural inclinations and where my curiosity goes towards what do I want to get good at moving forward, because I want to be an example for my kids. I don't want to push them, do the things that I didn't dare to do. Live a happy and follow your dreams and follow and become confident when I just do things because just be indeed a place filler. If I don't know what is exactly that I want, I will just do what other people want, right? I think he had a point, but I did take it personally this way. Just by asking different questions and focusing on the doing part, it really changes the entire conversations, the entire field, the entire way. And this is valid in so many other type of conversation and interactions, when we take what other people are saying literally and we make the meaning about us, instead of letting the distance. Nothing should touch your being, but you can get curious towards your doing, and you can change it or you don't. If you want or not, you can change your behavior, you can change how you formulate things, you can change how you show up, you can change what direction you go with your life or what skills you want to develop. So many things you can learn, take feedback, but it's the doing. Then you don't carry it like the hurts the same way. So these were my 3 communications lessons that I've learned, and I want to give them forward and ask better questions. Know the difference between surviving type of questions and thriving type of questions. Know that you have to practice in order to listen, because your brain is going to go ahead of you, is going to predict what is going to say based on past interactions, based the same story that was said again and again. But you can ask different questions in order to give a new light, a new perspective, maybe to the conversations that just repeat themselves, right? And the third one is like make the distinction in communication when you receive feedback or criticism or negative feedback. It's like, it's not about your being, it's always about the doing. But when someone says that you are so awesome, right? You are so great, you're amazing, also doesn't say much, because what if the same person the next day is in a bad mood and says you are so messy, right? Then your state fluctuates between these labels that were given to you about your identity. Your identity is always intact. If you do a great thing, oh, I did a great thing, I've learned something. I did a good thing, I did a good thing. I did a bad thing, what can I learn from it, and so on, right? Okay, awesome, thank you. So don't forget, subscribe, and see you around in order to explore how to ask better questions, have better conversations, build more clarity around our goals, and take bold action, right? Thank you so much, and see you in the next one.